Hello, Tico here. Hope everyone's well and safe as normal, and welcome to this month's Q&A video. So let's get into it. To start us off with two questions is from Arnold Spotting Videos, and the first question is, do you like 150-001 Beloved or 152-16? 150-001. Come on, Arnold. Not 216. I will find 216 though. But no, 150-001 will always be my beloved favourite in the whole wide world. Second and final question from Arnold Spotting Videos. Did you ever get bowled on your videos? Yes. Let's be honest, we've all been bowled in our videos whilst train spotting. Yeah, I've been bowled a number of times. Next up with just the one question is from Barrow C. And their question is, how much of your filming goes to plan versus having to work around delays and cancellations? Most videos I do go according to plan, about 80%. You do get the odd video where the trains are delayed by a few minutes or half an hour, or even if the trains are cancelled and I have to do another part to the video, like with recently with Tico Ventures episode 6, there was only going to be 2 parts, but I had to do a third part for Walsden because the train to Walsden was cancelled in part 1, so I had to skip that station and do it in a different part. So and then there's just no hill lines. that enough said. But no, most of the time it goes pretty well. Next up with 2 questions is from CPR1234. Their first question is, longest time without seeing your beloved? Now some of you will know the second longest time, which was between August the 21st 2019 to 420 day 2021, so April the 20th. So that was 616 days of not seeing beloved. So, but the actual longest time I have here written down here was between the 13th of November 2011 to the 9th of April 2015. So from the 150 farewell tour to when I reunited with my beloved at Cheltenham, and then she took me back to Ashchurch for Tewkesbury when she was with First Great Western, and that gap lasted, without seeing my beloved, a total of 1,244 days without seeing my beloved. So a very long time. Yeah, but I thought she was scrapped because at the time I didn't know anything. I do now, obviously, but no, it was a welcome surprise, and yeah, it was just great to travel on her to Ashchurch from Cheltenham. Second question and final question from CPR1234. Have you heard of Amtrak? It's a train company that runs passenger trains around the USA. Sadly, I have indeed heard of this train operating company that tries to run train services around the USA. Not very well, I've been told. But yeah, I don't really know much of America's rail network. Mostly just here in the UK. Next up with 2 questions is from Edward Evans, and their first question is 37s or 47s? 37s. Second and final question from Edward Evans. Favourite train operating company? That's a tough one. There's loads. I would have to go with Northern because they have beloved number 2 and the most of the 150s and the other types of sprinters. So yeah, Northern. Next up with just the one question is from Ethan's Trains. The first question is, have you ever seen 773 GWR Pride? Not yet, but at some point I think I will encounter this specific Class 66 at some point. Next up with just the one question is from Hayden S, and their question is, if you could choose any station to be your local, what would it be? Do you mind? Anything that's not Ashchurch. So yeah, anything that's not Ashchurch for Tewkesbury. I would say, it's a weird one, but I'd say either Wally or Lang. Well, that's because they're both quiet stations. Yeah, they got like beloved and number 2 working on them, and they're in an area where you have really scenic views. So yeah, either Wally or Lang Ho. Most likely Lang Ho. Oh, what my neighbours put up with. Next up with just the one question is from Jacob's Rail Adventures. Their question is, have you been on the GWR Castle Set? I have many times between Ashchurch and Worcester, and then Filton Abbey Wood to Bristol. Yeah, a fair amount of times I've been on them, and they're great fun. Next up with 3 questions is from James Glossop's Travels, and their first question is, what do you think of the colour of 34027 and the name of it on the Severn Valley Railway? Right, I understand that there's a bit of a 50-50 thing with this locomotive and its new colour and name. I understand that it's for the 70th Jubilee for the Queen and all that, but a locomotive with purple is just destined to fail. The purple does not suit a steam locomotive. If you did this on a diesel locomotive, fair enough, but not on a steam locomotive. It's either British Racing Green, Apple Green, Red, Blue, Dark Blue or Black. That works on a steam train, not bright purple. And 70, no, you put its number on it. You don't rename it. Christ, are they trying to ruin the engine or what? Goose almighty. Second question from James. Best bit from your top secret project? A number of bits really. Obviously the driving the diesel locomotive, that's for starters. The whole line as well, because originally I was only doing the headquarters to the north end and back twice, but now I did the full line, which was great. We saw a number of locomotives, steam locomotives as well, that are in use, and there was one bit on my way back from the north end to the headquarters, New Romney, where you saw these school kids and they were running towards the fence as I was sounding the horn. But that is it's a bit of a very nice touch for me, because when I was a kid, that's what I was doing when the 150s were passing Hagley School, running towards the fence, waving. So it's a bit of a nostalgic feel. Also, the headboard, that was another great thing to have. The Tic Tac trolley service Teco Express. Who would have thought it? Oh wait. Third and final question from James Glossop's Travels. What do you think of the Class 230s, and would you ever try them out? Yes. Apparently they're going to be working between Bidston and Wrexham General on the Borderlands line. I think? Yeah, Borderlands line. But another Transport for Wales, another unit I'm looking forward to is the Class 231 Flirts, which will be flirting their way between Cardiff, Gloucester and Cheltenham. So where I live. That'll be good. Next up with 3 questions is from James Gold. And the first question is 175 or 170? Class 170. Second question from James, Class 800 or Class 43? Class 43. Every single time. Third and final question from James Gold. 150 Type 0, Type 1 or Type 2? All of them. All of them. Next up with 2 questions is from Jed Kendre. If I pronounced his surname incorrectly, I do apologise. But the first question is, what is your favourite station? Tamworth. You get everything. Passenger trains, express passenger trains, freight, specials, sleeper, both diesel and electric. Apart from the sleeper because it's electric. But yeah, Tamworth. Second and final question from Jed Kenry. What's your worst station? Kidderminster Main Line in the land of Mordor. Obviously the Severn Valley Railway Station is a much more grand and better looking station than the one served by them 172 Turbo Stars. Give us our 150s back! Next up with just the one question is from Josh's Railway Adventures. And their question is, where did you buy your train badges from? It's a mix really of Facebook groups, eBay, yeah, eBay and Facebook groups where people put links into their websites for badges. Next up with 2 questions is from Liam O'Connor. The first question is, when did you first do a YouTube video? Back in 2008. Obviously I didn't have a YouTube channel back then, but that was my first train spot in 2008, and it was at Worcester Foregate Street and Shrub Hill. And we had a lot more diversity of trains back then, unlike today's lot. But no, it was great fun. The second and final question from Liam O'Connor. What was the very first station you visited? Again, back in 2008. Well, hang on. Well, technically 2001 when I first had my first train ride, which was at Kidderminster. But my first, in terms of train spotting, Worcester Shrub Hill and Worcester Foregate Street, as I said in question 1. But it wasn't until 2011 when I uploaded my first train spotting video, and yeah, great. Next up with just the one question is from, forgive me, All Plays, if I pronounced that right. And that question is, what inspired you to start train spotting? Most of all, I would say my first train ride, well, my first experience with the train from Kidderminster to Birmingham Moor Street, which was on Sprinter 150001. It would later become my beloved. It was my first train ride, first time seeing a train and travelling on one, and then just looking at all the other stations, seeing that there's loads of different stations, a vast network, what's left of it anyway, and there's so many different types of trains. And that inspired me, it got me fascinated with the railways and the trains. So I thought, let's go and visit them all. So yeah. Next up with 3 questions is from Pep EMU Fan. The first question is, would you consider going to any model railway exhibitions in the future? In the future, perhaps one day I will. Until then, I'm just sticking to trains and nothing else. Nothing else. Do you hear me, Ian? Nothing else but trains and trams. Second question from Pep. Are there any miniature railways that you have in mind to visit next? Yes. There's the Ravenglass and Eskdale Railway, the Bure Valley Railway, and that's it really. For now anyway. Third and final question from Pep EMU fan. Do you have an interest in filming any railway abroad? No. No, sadly. I mean, I like Eurostars, and I think that there are some interesting trains abroad in Europe and across the world, but I'm not very good with airplanes. So, yeah. No. Next up with 3 questions is from Ruben Ashwell. And their first question is, have you ever considered going to the Bluebell Railway in Sussex at all? At some point. I've heard quite a bit about the railway because of Jeff Marshall and other railway enthusiasts. But probably in the future we'll have a look at this railway. Second question from Ruben. Would you ever dare to ride a Class 180 Adelante with East Midlands Railway or Grand Central? I've been on them before with First Great Western, and it was the Foregate Street, so we literally didn't go anywhere. We didn't go anywhere. We'll be going nowhere. But yeah, I mean, if I do get the opportunity to do a review on both the EMR and Grand Central ones, then yeah. You'll be going nowhere. Third and final question from Ruben Ashwell. Would you ever want to explore more of the London Underground? Yes. However, I've never been a fan of London in general because it's very busy and the station staff are just a bit dodgy. But I do have plans to do like a Tico Ventures style vlog, my videos on the Underground. When I will do the first one, I have no idea. Next up with 3 questions is from Rockstar Paul 69. The first question is, 3 stations you'd love to visit but never visited. Penistone, Broadbottom, Flowery Field. In that order. I'm joking about that. Seriously though, there's loads. So Truro, I've not been to Truro. Let's see, Blenya Festiniog, that's another one. What else did I put on here? And Dalmeny, because Dalmeny and North Queens Road, because you can see the Forth Bridge from both stations. Oh yeah, one of those really. Second question from Rockstar Paul 69 or Ian. 3 trains you haven't rode on for a while but want to. Class 153, 155 and the 43 HST. Third and final question from Rockstar Paul 69. I don't have a third question, so have a bus. Look at what this lunatic's done. Look at him. Yes. If you read very carefully, Ian, there's your carver. Huh? This is a bus that he literally sent me this with his questions. Hellfire with yellow at the front with the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleader special. That will teach you, sir. Next up with 3 questions is from Simon the Railway Enthusiast 83. And the first question is, do you plan to see and film the Southern Class 455s before they are withdrawn from service? If I get the chance, I will. I do have a plan in place, roughly, to go and chase the rail, so not travel on it, because, oh, excuse me, I would imagine all the tickets have been sold out by now. But, yeah, I'm looking at it. Second question from Simon83. Do you have any future plans to travel on the Southern Trains network? Apart from the Class 455, I've no idea. We'll just have to wait and see. Eventually I'll get round to doing a Tico Ventures on the southern lines. Third and final question from Simon the Rail Enthusiast 83. Class 455s or 377s? 455s. Because they are basically sprinters. 4-car sprinters on DC rail. And sprinters are goose. Indeed. Next up with 3 questions is from Simon Trains, or some people like to call him Simon Trains, or Cyber Trades. The first question is, would you go back to the Romney High Steam Railway Driver Steam Locomotive? Yes. They have their 95th anniversary Steam Gala, well, Steam and Diesel Gala, May the 14th, May the 15th. So I might have a look at that. In terms of doing a steam driving experience, yes, I will have a look at that, because I have enjoyed driving the diesel, and there's 11 steam locomotives to choose from. Well, 7, because most of them are being overhauled. But if I could choose, I would choose number 7, Typhoon, because it's basically an A3 Pacific, so Flying Scotsman, and it's in British Racing Green. Second question from Cyber. Any more driver experiences you got planned or considering? Yes. The thing is that they're quite expensive, and most of them require a bus journey, which is not good. Not good at all, as you've seen from my Romney High Operation New Romney videos, and the Plym Valley Railway one in Plymouth. But no, there's a number of ideas. So the Raven Glasgow Railway, the one that Francis and Ryan did down in Llanelli, I think. You got the Gloucestershire Warwickshire Railway, which is local to me. You got the Chasewater Railway. You got Severn Valley as well. Oh yeah. Third and final question from Cyber Trains / Simon Trains / Cyber Trades, or Sheldon. How did you find riding the London Underground? It was great. I've not been on the Underground. I cannot tell you when the last time I've been on the Underground, apart from doing Operation New Romney, because I really don't remember. But it was when the D stock trains were still in service. That's how long ago it was, and the A stock. So yeah, oh, that was a long time ago. But no, it was great. It was good to be back on the Underground. It's changed. Quite a lot has changed. I've seen. It was the first time I've been on the Hammersmith and City, and I've learned something very, I've learned something from that. Don't go during the rush hour. Just don't, because it's just mental. Just go at night, because the night tubes aren't very that busy, aren't they? Next up, with just the one question, is from Thornaby37. Their question is, if you had permission from Northern, do you plan to put your Tic Tac trolley service Tic Express headboard on the front of your beloved 150001? Absolutely. However, that depends if Northern will allow it, which I don't think they will. I have emailed them about it. I've had nothing in response, so we'll have to wait on and see how that will. But it'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah, if I drive it as well. And the last question of the video comes from Transpennine Wanderer, and their question is, what is your favourite livery on a 150? Central Trains, all the way. Nothing comes close to Central Trains. So that's it for this Q&A video. Thank you to everybody for sending me over your questions. I have very much enjoyed reading them and answering them. And as always, thank you for watching and stay safe, everybody.